Here are some headlines that you might have missed. People are dressing in suits to see Minions: Rise of Gru. It sounds like a cute thing, kids dressing up like the character in a film. And it is. Right up to the point where they start acting like the evil character and start disrupting the movies for other moviegoers and vandalizing the theater. Some theater managers had to hand out refunds wholesale because some people don't know how to behave, and other theaters are canceled showing it altogether. Which brings us to our next headline. Why thousands of theaters could ban Thor: Love and Thunder. The potential, yes, potential depiction of an LGBTQ character is enough to make some countries in the Middle East and South Asia, where being gay is legal and punishable by life in prison or even death, to ban the movie outright. The studio had already chopped the movie up, removing all but the mildest scenes of a same-sex love interest to appease the more conservative moviegoers here in the States. Cut it to please Saudi Arabia and Malaysia, and all the viewers in those countries may get the opening and closing credits. But at least that's in an imaginary world where good and evil fight. Here in the real world, we get headlines like this. Evil does eventually die. Scathing obituary published in Florida newspaper. I can really feel the love in this family. I know that we all can't have the world's greatest dad, but this one's really out there. It reads, Lawrence H. Pfaff Sr. was born in Belmont, New York on April 16, 1941. He passed away on June 27, 2022, living a long life, much longer than he deserved. He is survived by his 3 children. No, 5. Well, as of 2022, we believe that there's one more out there that we know about, but there could be more. His love was abundant when it came to himself, but for his children it was limited. From a young age, he was a ladies' man and an abusive alcoholic, solidifying his commitment to both with the path of destruction he left behind, damaging his adult children and leaving them broken. Lawrence Sr.'s hobbies included abusing his first wife and children. He loved to start projects, but never followed through on any of them. He enjoyed the life of a barfly for many years and had a quaint little living space, a studio, above his favorite hole in the wall, the Club Nashville. Lawrence Sr. did spend over 20 years in the NYPD, but even his time in service was negligent at best. Because of his alcohol addiction, his commanding officer took away his gun and badge, replacing them with a broom until he could get his act together. Lawrence Sr. did claim to be clean and sober for over 30 years, but he never worked on any of the 12 steps, including the 8th and 9th steps with his children, making amends. He possesses no redeeming qualities for his children, even the ones he knew and the ones he knew about. It will be challenging to miss Lawrence Sr. because he was narcissistic. He was incapable of love. Lawrence Sr.'s passing proves that evil does eventually die, and it marks a time of healing, which will allow his children to get the closure they deserve. Lawrence Sr. can be remembered for being a father to many and a dad to none. Obviously, he was at least known to his children, not fondly remembered. I can imagine his burial was attended for no other reason than to make sure he was actually dead and buried. Then there are funerals for those who are remembered fondly, but who had family members that they just didn't even want around, even after they died. From the Daily Beast and the Mercury News, we get this story. Uninvited family member at mom's funeral mows down sister, tips casket, and floods gravesite. A funeral meant to celebrate the life of an elderly woman in Northern California turned into comical mayhem when an uninvited family member stormed the service, ran over guests with his car, tipped over the casket, and struck a water main. The extraordinary send-off happened at the Contra Costa County Cemetery inside Richmond's Rolling Hills Memorial Park on Saturday, but was not apparently entirely unanticipated. A family member brought a stun gun to the service because of long-standing family issues, Sergeant Aaron Pomeroy of the Richmond Police Department told reporters after things had calmed down. The uninvited guest, thought to be the brother of the daughter of the dead matriarch, doesn't that make him her son, reportedly started a feud with his sister, whose boyfriend then intervened. The uninvitee, who was not publicly named, then got into his car and tried to strike his sister with it, but instead somehow hit another relative. That woman suffered injuries and was treated and released to a nearby hospital. One of the family members tried to run over his sister with the vehicle, said Pomeroy. He gets into an argument with his sister. The sister's boyfriend comes to the rescue. The suspect gets into a fight with the sister's boyfriend and punches him. At some point, the suspect goes back to his vehicle and gets in it. During the moving car component of the proceedings, several tombstones were damaged and the matriarch's casket fell off its stand, according to several press reports. Shortly after the casket went for a ride, the car hit a water main, which led to a strong burst of water that flooded the area, including the still empty grave where the casket was supposed to be buried. One of the family members tried to run over his sister with the vehicle, said Pomeroy. Police say the man caused around $20,000 in damage to the cemetery. He drove over some headstones, damaged some headstones, severed a water main, causing flooding in the area before they could shut the water off, Pomeroy said, according to the Mercury News. The director of Rolling Hills Park told Mercury News that the bizarre incident in no way reflects the standard operating procedures of the cemetery. Do not worry at all. Your loved ones interred here are very safe, and our staff is here to assist any of the families, Kamala Thompson told NBC Bay Area News. The unruly, uninvited guest faces a number of criminal charges. It is not known if the matriarch has yet been interred. Thanksgiving dinner, however, will surely be interesting. I will assume that since you're watching this video, you're alive. YouTube analytics never show how many ghosts and zombies view these things, and you're possibly still working. Some of you might even be in a union. For those of you unionists, live better, work union. You all count on your seniority to keep you on the payroll when layoffs come around. That is, unless you work as a unionized teacher in Minneapolis, as reported by the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Minneapolis teacher contract language disrupts seniority to protect educators of color. The student population in Minneapolis schools has been dropping, and about 50 teachers were laid off because of it. I feel I can safely hazard a guess that if enrollment dropped that fast, it is because of middle-class flight to the suburbs after the George Floyd riots. The seniority busting won't start till this spring, when teachers' personal contracts are up for renewal. The time lag for implementation will mean that some senior teachers will choose to retire, and some of the best teachers will apply for positions in nearby school districts, leaving the district with younger, less experienced teachers of color while denying those same teachers of the more experienced mentors that they need to hone their teaching skills. According to Edward Barlow, member of the Minneapolis Federations of Teachers Executive Board, it can be a national model, and schools in other states are looking to emulate what we did. Even though it doesn't do everything we wanted it to do, it's still a huge move forward for the retention of teachers of color. The article goes on to say that, according to the Learning Policy Institute, students of color learn better when taught by teachers of color. It should be noted here that the Learning Policy Institute is an advocacy and research group that focuses on diversity and equity outcomes and likely can't be considered a truly fair arbiter of information. And here I always thought that the best teachers got the best results, no matter the color of their skin. And while we're on the topics of union, there's this story out of Los Angeles. Los Angeles strippers could become only unionized dancers in nation. The dancers at North Hollywood's Star Garden Topless Dive Bar have been picketing for the last 5 months to no avail. But now they have a powerful union in their corner, the Actors Equity Association. Actors Equity represents actors and dancers involved in live performances. If you wonder why strippers would want to unionize, it is best summed up by a statement by a dancer whose stage name is Velveeta, on why they want to pay union dues. It's worth the 3%, she said. We're paying 50% right now. Sounds like the bosses had his hand in their tip jar? We all know that non-union workers can be let go on a moment's notice for almost any reason at all, and a lot of the times their bosses are glad to see them go. But not all the times, as this next headline shows. Boss blasted for texting worker 2 days after firing him. In shock. Redditor Scooter Bob shared this exchange between him and his former boss 2 days after he was let go after several years. Boss, good morning. Did you create an order for this week or an inventory? Scooter, I'm confused. Was my position eliminated or not? When his former employer replied that yes, he had been fired, Scooter replied, bless your heart. You don't fire someone and still contact them to ask questions about the job because you don't know. Former boss was flummoxed and replied, 25 years in the kitchen. Just thought you would have been professional. Scooter Bob gave his clueless former boss a serious third-degree burn in his reply. 25 years, I'd never had anyone fire me that expected me to still work. Oops. Maybe you should have thought that dismissal through a little better. Some workers do their level best to try and cash in on their job a little too well, as we will see next. North Carolina store clerk cashes in stolen lottery tickets, deputies say. Dateline, Halifax, North Carolina, WNCN. A North Carolina store clerk was arrested after authorities said she stole lottery tickets from her place of employment and cashed in the winning numbers for over a month. Amanda Cassandra Wilson, 26, of Roanoke Rapids, was arrested Wednesday and charged with 10 counts of larceny by an employee and 7 counts of obtaining property by false pretense, deputies said. I guess she forgot those things have serial numbers on them. Then there are those who try too hard to get a job done no matter what, as we will see in this story from India, courtesy of the BBC and the Hindustan Times. Uttar Pradesh Auto. India tuk-tuk crammed with 27 passengers seized. I'll let the video speak for itself.
ड्राइवर कहाँ गया? ड्राइवर कौन है? ड्राइवर कहाँ?
I sure hope nobody farted in that cab. And let's add a little malicious compliance from the subcontinent. We've all had that one boss who tells you exactly how to set something up, exactly how far apart everything has to be, and he won't hear any reason at all about why it won't work like he wants, and produces a headline like this. Contractor erects electrical pole between train tracks in Madhya Pradesh Sagar district. In this case, they mean between the rails of one line. Here's the picture. Well, that's it for today. Feel free to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Don't forget to click the notification bell. If you'd like to support the channel, visit our Patreon so that we can keep bringing you more videos. So long, stay safe, and thanks for watching.